Welcome back to Attacking Third alongside Darian, Sandra, and Christine. I'm Lisa. NWSL Match Day 21 is here. It's in the books. It all starts on Friday. We've got number 4 Kansas City Current hosting the number 2 Washington Spirit, 8 p.m. on Prime. Also Bay taking on Orlando Pride. Saturday, Louisville hosts North Carolina. Then Houston welcomes Seattle to Shell Energy Stadium, and Chicago play San Diego Wave. On Sunday, we got Gotham FC taking on the Utah Royals, an afternoon 1 p.m. kick. And we get Monday, 10 p.m. They like us up late during the week. Angel City hosting Portland Thorns, that match on CBS Sports Network. The biggest match, arguably, of the weekend is Kansas City Current, number 4, taking on number 2 Washington Spirit. It's their second meeting in the regular season. The first one came in August when Washington thumped KC 4-1. And since then, Washington has gone undefeated. But for Kansas City, they have an opportunity to clinch the playoffs with a win. They can also clinch with the draw, but they need some help. Easiest way is with a Kansas City win. However, the Current have only picked up 4 points in their last 4 matches. 1 win, 2 losses, and 1 draw. Plus, they've only scored 3 goals. Sandra, it's very important for Kansas City to pick up points, not only to get a win, but really to reestablish themselves as a big dog heading into the playoffs. How do they do it against Washington?
100%. They've just been tumbling down the standings ever really since, what was it, that 4-1 meeting that they just had at the end of August. But there are some moments in the season where that enact change. And I think that was maybe the moment. That was not a good loss. You're talking about 2 contenders going head to head. We were talking about it as if it was a playoff preview. And then Kansas City had was a terrible performance. Letting in 4 goals was not something that you want to do at this stage in the season, especially if you're considering yourself a contender. And we thought, is this the moment where we see a shift in maybe the goalkeeper post? And that's exactly what ended up happening. So while they haven't scored a lot of goals yet in the last couple of weeks, Lisa, I also feel like they've kind of built up something else. They've worked towards getting clean sheets, which is not something that we've associated with this Kansas City Current team this year. Big part of that might have something to do with the shakeup in goal with Schultz now in there. And maybe that's going to help motivate them going into this match against Washington Spirit. They do not want to have a repeat performance where they give up 4 goals. It's not going to be easy because the Spirit are playing what feels like lights out right now. But I think this might be a little bit of a different matchup that we get to see that we saw the last time.
I totally agree. And thinking about Kansas City, they got Bia back.
Mm-hmm.
She breaks up play so much for KC. I think they're a little bit more dynamic, unpredictable because of her hold up play, how technical she is. I think she reads pockets of space really well. And when she's able to check down off of a back line, she draws 1 to 2 defenders with her every single time. That opens up pockets of space on either side of her, then to play Chewinga through or another forward, Michelle Cooper's back, Michelle Cooper through. I think she gives another wrinkle to their attack where it's going to make teams have to sit back, respect them a little bit more, like the Spirit, as opposed to let's just shut down Chewinga and then let's attack, which I think is what we saw a lot in the last matchup between these two. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a fair fight, and Alana Cook now is settling in. I think that connection with Schultz has been a little bit more solid. They look more fluid together. But yeah, I do think Kansas City, you're right, Sandra, that's a really good point. They're focusing on the shutouts, not conceding as much as they did before. And I think their Spirit's got a bigger challenge ahead of them than we saw in the last matchup.
Christine, when you think about this Washington Spirit side, knowing that they've already clinched the playoffs, does it help alleviate some pressure heading into this match?
I don't know if it'll alleviate pressure. I think there's always going to be the pressure to perform. I just think this is going to be a different kind of match on both sides. Obviously, Washington Spirit think that they sort of have Kansas City found out, and I think that that's been evident over their last few matches where you know that if you hit them in transition, they just leave too many pockets and gaps to just kind of dig into, and that's been their Achilles heel all season long. I think that with some of their adjustments, especially with Bia being back, to Darian's point, helps a lot. Michelle Cooper, Alana Cook, Schultz, which Vlatko had addressed her in goal, just trying her East Coast, West Coast, day, night games to sort of ready her for playoffs. I think that that's made a significant impact for her. But Washington Spirit seem pretty unstoppable at this point. They've got the bounce in their boots. They're playing beautifully. They're confident. I think that's going to be pretty formidable to come against this match for Kansas City, but I think we'll definitely get goals. If it's anything like their August match, we'll get a lot more fouls too. I just remember that being a foul fest on the Kansas City side.
Big revenge for Kansas City as they look to bounce back against Washington Spirit. Match of the weekend. You can watch it this Friday night. And of course, all the other NWSL matches that are to come this weekend. It should be a good one. Tune in, enjoy the women's football, and thanks for joining us today. We'll be back in studio on Monday to recap the weekend and everything that has happened. But thanks everyone so much for joining us. You can watch us, youtube.com/attacking3rd. Like the video, subscribe. We're available as a podcast. Download, follow, subscribe anywhere you get us. And always, you can watch us on CBS Sports Golazo Network. For Darian, Sandra, and Christine, I'm Lisa. This was Attacking Third.